everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am Jen and this is Fundie Fridays, and here on my channel I talk about different aspects of Christian fundamentalism, American conservative politics, pop culture, and gay stuff. And today we are going to be talking about some news that has rocked the Fundie world, namely Travis Clark, who is the husband of Katie Bates from the Bates family, has publicly announced that he had been cheating on her, and this was literally one day after she announced that she had a miscarriage. So needless to say, we all fucking hate that guy, but also keeping in perspective that these are real people, and I do genuinely feel awful for what happened to Katie because it's really fucked up and she doesn't deserve that. But it's been several years since I've talked about the Bates, and so I thought I'd give a little context, a little history about the family. Nothing too deep. This is not a deep dive, but we are going to talk about the highlights and lowlights because this family actually does have quite a few controversies. And I think that people forget how problematic they are because the Bates always get compared to the Duggars. And when you think of the Duggars, we all know what you're thinking about at this point. I think it's a good idea to kind of remind people of some of the things that are going on with the Bates family. And so before we begin, here's a word from our sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by Aura. Aura is a digital security product that protects your privacy by identifying data brokers, selling your info, and putting a stop to it. Aura is a one-stop shop for protecting your data, including financial fraud protection, identity theft protection, antivirus, VPN, and parental controls. And you know there's all kinds of weird stuff online for kids nowadays. And if you're like me, you spend a lot of time on the web. And with the types of subjects that I research, I end up using popular search engines that sell my data. And oftentimes, I am on less than savory parts of the internet in search of a rare clip or news article. That's why I am glad that I have Aura to protect me. I can have my privacy and I still get to do my research. You know that data brokers compile your personal data like email addresses, usernames, and even your photos, and they sell them? That's right, they make millions off your data and leave you vulnerable to scammers, or worse. But with Aura, you can sit back and relax, and they handle the hard part, automatically removing your info from these sites and keeping it off. And Aura is the only company that does it all. Monitoring your identity 24 hours a day, alerting you about personal info found on the dark web, including real-time fraud alerts for credit and banking. It even comes with a VPN, an antivirus, a password manager, and more. I really need a password manager, actually. They also have round-the-clock US-based support, and if anything does happen, Aura includes $5 million in identity theft insurance protection. And right now, you can try Aura for free for 14 days by going to aura.com/Fundie Fridays, or clicking the link in my description, or scanning the QR code. Isn't technology great? And in those 2 weeks, Aura will get to work scrubbing your personal info off of these data broker sites. So once again, thank you to Aura for sponsoring today's video. If you want to try them out, click the link in my description or go to aura.com/Fundie Fridays. Now back to the video. Gil and Kelly Jo Bates got married in 1987 and they met at a Fundie college, and surprisingly, the children are allowed to go to college as long as it is conservative and has dubious credentials. Now, despite that big difference in education and frequency of pants being worn by the girls, the Bates family are extremely similar to the Duggars. Not only do they also have 19 children, but they run in the same circles and they have basically the same morals and values. The Bates and the Duggars are good friends. At least I think they still are. I know a lot of the children do spend a lot of time together and show up for each other in meaningful ways. I remember Joy Duggar is really close friends with Carlin Bates, so Gil probably thinks that his family is better than the Duggars because they don't have sex abuse scandals, and because Gil actually has a job at IBLP. And the Duggars were used as the advertisement, endorsement, and poster family of IBLP for a long time, and Jim Bob did hold office for a few minutes. But I think to them, what's more important is having that power and clout within IBLP.
There's so many different ways for everybody to be involved. The little kids have something they go to, it's called Children's Institute, and they teach them different scripture passages and do skits and different songs. Then there's something called Pre-Excel, and it's just like a little homemaking class where they teach character at the same time and different principles out of the Bible. Jackson, Moore, and Isaiah did Alert, and they marched and rappelled. They did so many cool things that guys love to do, but at the same time, they're teaching character or principle.
IBLP, or the Institute of Basic Life Principles, is a religious organization founded by alleged sexual predator Bill Gothard, a very creepy loser who has an obsession with young Christian girls and their purity despite never getting married. IBLP has many branches and programs ranging from god-awful wisdom booklets that are supposed to be used for homeschooling, international mission trips, summer camps, and more. IBLP was so important that Hobby Lobby founders The Greens donated to the organization for over 15 years, and they also sold them several properties to house their various programs. Gil is on the board of directors for IBLP, and several of his in-laws also work for the organization. He speaks frequently at their events, and I have a video from one of these IBLP seminars. I believe this is from ATI, or the Advanced Training Institute.
Got some special parents, got some special parameters. I believe he was an ATI, don't you? Hey, I'm gonna tell you, we're trying to follow the same pattern. A purpose greater than everybody around you. Parents doing things that nobody's doing, but God's pleased with. And children with special parameters to protect them from things that one day could destroy them if we're not careful.
And this video is entitled, "The High Price of a Sensual Girl."
Let me tell you something. Going down is not good when you're talking about God. You want to go up, okay?
In order to get access to this video, I had to sign up for the IBLP mailing list, and now I can watch any video that they put out. So let me know in the comments if you think I should do a deep dive about that.
You know, I had a lot of titles for this thing. The high price, I thought of a pretty girl. But there's nothing wrong with being pretty. You can't help how you're made. I think everybody's beautiful in God's sight, and they're all beautiful. There's nothing wrong with being pretty. You can't help that. Most of y'all are just made that way, and that's a good thing. But then it's the high price, maybe the hidden price tag of a worldly girl, or you see the title of a sensual girl. All the things that could lead into going the wrong direction.
There are a lot of other things that Gil happens to talk about in this video that actually represent many of the other values and rules that they have in IBLP and the Bates family.
If a young lady wears a dress, I'm praise the Lord for every one of you young ladies that God's convicted you walk in that path. I want to wear a dress. I want to be honoring the Lord. I want to do that. Hey, let me tell you, how many of you know that's different?
Gender roles and social stigma are mainstays in the IBLP belief system. They promote the umbrella of authority, which is not only a troubling illustration of power dynamics, but also a really ineffective umbrella. And some other ideas that IBLP pushes is the quiverful ideology, as in they want you to have as many children as possible to serve in God's army, aka vote Republican.
God's in charge of opening and closing the womb. Amen.
IBLP also encouraged families not to watch television or inappropriate movies or play video games.
I don't know what you do. We don't do TV. We don't do video games. We don't do all the things that lead to, say, well, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just a little Pac-Man eating dots, or a little, whatever they have these days. I don't know what they are. But whatever they are, you know what they are? They're very addictive.
We know that they have to have access to the internet, otherwise they wouldn't be influencers. But check out this clip from CBN where Gil explains just how they protect their young boys from pornography.
And we try to put things in place to protect them. We don't have internet inaccessible. I mean, it's accessible for those, but you, like our boys, if they ever own it, they have to have a sister with them or somebody. And so we
Accountability.
Accountability is the key to long-term success. Without accountability, it's easy for all of us to go the wrong way.
The Bates family and most IBLP families adhere closely to purity culture, and this includes courtship or dating with a purpose. That's their phrase, not mine. A potential couple will form when the fathers of the young people pre-approve the relationship and usually orchestrate it from there. Sometimes the girl doesn't even know what's happening until a suitor shows up at their door that their dad has been emailing with for months.
Is a wholesome, pure life, and I want you to keep it to the day that I hand you off to some fine young man that loves God.
And within those courtship relationships, there are a lot of strict boundaries. Sometimes the people really don't get to know each other in a meaningful way before they're married. And this includes limiting phone calls and letters that they can write to each other. And Gil says, don't you dare complain about those rules, because if your future wife doesn't follow her parents' rules, means that she will not be obedient to her husband's rules.
If you begin a relationship with a young lady, young man, and your parents give you permission or they give permission to talk and communicate, listen, if she is deceptive with her parents, if they say, hey, you can text for 5 texts a day, or you can talk on the phone for 5 minutes, or you can, whatever the parameters they put in place, if she says, well, let's just don't tell them. It's okay, we can go over a little bit. If she'll be deceptive with her parents, you know what's going to happen one day? She'll be deceptive with you. Now, don't fool yourself. You'll think, no, she's only doing it because she loves me. She's in love with me and I'm in love with her. We're only doing it for each other. But one day if you get married, she ain't going to love you so much. She's going to see some of the things that you're not doing so well. And she's going to say, man, I know my husband asked me not to do these particular things, but what he don't know won't hurt him. A little girl that's deceptive with God, deceptive with her parents, has started a pattern that she'll soon be deceptive with you.
The worst part of this video is Gil eventually says, well, you know, these deceptive, independent, opinionated wives are just going to cheat on you with multiple men and live this horrible, sexually broken life.
You know, her parents don't understand her. The preacher's too hard on her. You know, she's just had a hard life, and I'm just trying to help her. I said, listen, if she won't listen to God, and she won't listen to her parents, why do you think she's going to listen to you? Well, I understand her. We understand each other. I said, would you break that off and just separate from that girl totally? God has somebody for you. Don't go that direction. Well, he didn't listen. He said, well, I think that's God's will. So he pursued the relationship anyway. He married about 2 years. Came home 2 children later. She's with another fella. And then another fella. And then another fella. Let me tell you, that's a painful life to live. He stayed married to her. He's trying to honor the Lord. He's trying to be pure. He's trying to live for God, trying to raise his kids. But I'm going to tell you, that's a painful life to live in. But the signs were there way before he ever got there.
Gil then goes on to talk about how evil Facebook is, and not for the reasons you would think. He tells a story about a woman who started talking to her friends on Facebook and then left her husband to go live with them. And you know what? That really upsets me because it makes me think of all the women who are trapped in abusive marriages who use Facebook to connect with people and get out of that situation. And he's basically saying that you shouldn't let your wife get on Facebook as another way to control and coerce her.
I am totally not for Facebook. I don't recommend getting one. You'll get yourself in more trouble than you can handle. If you have one, that's your choice. I highly discourage it. You got enough trouble keeping yourself right without a Facebook. But I'm going to tell you what happened. This girl never could be content. I'm telling you, this is a good husband. He come home every day for lunch and eat lunch with the family. Involved with the kids, take them places, involved, do Bible study, working with the church. These people love God. Seemed like everything was going great. But this person never seemed to be content. Figured out Facebook one day, got on and found some old friends. Left her husband, moved in with an old friend. You talking about heartbreaking. I'm going to tell you, discontentment, you don't just get over.
Thanks, Gil. Now I know that if I were to court a sensual girl, she would be disobedient, disrespectful, and leave me to go bang a bunch of dudes. Thanks. Some controversies before 2020 involving this family would be, of course, Erin's birthday cake for Bill Gothard that was served at her wedding reception. I know, why wasn't it a separate event? The family also at one time had a wall of Confederate heroes in their home. This used to be on Kelly's blog. It has since been wiped, although many people, including myself, have screenshots. Stonewall Jackson and Nathan Bedford Forrest. There was also Medic Corps, MEDIC-CORPS, a Christian disaster aid group that was founded by John David Duggar, who is technically a pilot, and he would bring his wife, who is a nurse, along with other family members and friends, including several members of the Bates family, Lawson being the one that we see the most of. He was on the news, actually. At one point, we're in the same place as Ivanka Trump. Their qualifications seem to be embellished. Most of them got their disaster training at Alert, which is a IBLP paramilitary cadet program. Although I'm sure they really are trying to help, I can't help but feel that they're probably getting in the way. During one disaster, they actually stole gas from U.S. aircraft, and it was the wrong fuel, and John David was walking around with his gun trying to intimidate people. And I know that he was a constable back in Arkansas, and so maybe that makes him think that he has some sort of authority, but it left a bad taste in my mouth, and I just don't trust anything that this family does. And you know what? If you're gonna have fast food flown in for just you and your family, wasting everybody's time and resources, and flaunting your privilege in a disaster area, it better be Chick-fil-A. Oh, it was. Moving on. The Bates have also been on TV, just like the Duggars. Originally, they had a TLC show called The United Bates of America. I know, 10 out of 10 title. That got canceled due to low ratings, and they had a second show called Bringing Up Bates, which was on Up TV. And the show was canceled, allegedly, because of this. A social media video that Carlin Bates posted where her family was playing charades. The category is supposed to be hunting, and Lawson does a gun motion, and somebody guesses George Floyd in what was supposed to be a joke, I guess, about him being murdered by the police. Why Carlin posted this, I have no idea. And if you look in the background, you can see that the camera crew was there, so.
George Floyd! Deer hunting!
Yay! I got it!
Good thing he's on our team.
Carlin apologized for the post, saying that she didn't even know that someone had said that. But either way, the show was canceled. And I literally just found out seconds ago that season 11 was secretly released on Tubi, and you can watch it for free.
I'm really sad to give Katie away, but I'm really grateful that God, I think, answered our prayer, that he sent her somebody that's going to encourage her, maybe even clean her room.
So in 2021, Lawson, the failed country musician, the one that tried to take down my channel, and his brother Trace were both at January 6th. They weren't at the insurrection. They weren't storming the Capitol, but they were at the park next to the Capitol, the park that was the home of the Save America rally, the Trump speech, and we know this because they fucking filmed themselves there, doing a little selfie. Lawson really hates when you use that footage and tries to copyright strike people who use it, so good luck to me, I guess. Lawson's wife, Tiffany, is actually an actress. She was on a couple of Disney Channel shows, as well as Spider-Man Homecoming, so good for her. Take that, Duggars. The only thing you guys were ever in was a shitty Kirk Cameron movie. Tiffany is, of course, multi-talented, and she does sing from time to time with Lawson, which I know better than to play a clip from. And apparently Tiffany also did stand-up comedy when she was a small child.
When my parents adopted me, I cried for 4 days straight. Not because I was being adopted, but that's how long it took them to scratch the Made in China sticker off my foot.
And you know, I'm not mad at her at all for that because I know her parents wrote it. They're the ones who should feel bad. Brace, the other guy in the video, is married to a woman named Lydia, and her family were kind of the subject of some international controversy. So here is the situation summarized as best as I can. Lydia and her family are from Germany, and homeschooling is illegal there, and her family did it anyway and got into huge trouble. They were fined every single day, and the cops even came and forced their children to go to school. The dad says that they were threatened with having the children removed from their custody. Eventually, the Homeschool Legal Defense Association, founded by Michael Ferris, helped them seek asylum in the U.S. for religious persecution.
So if we homeschooled them in Germany, we would face the same kind of persecution, and the government is really trying to financially crush families who are homeschooling and emotionally crush them and coerce them into following their rules, which we would of course not follow when we homeschool.
Now the family is apparently facing deportation, and he says that if the family were forced to move back to Germany, they wouldn't have the proper education because of the homeschooling, so they would have trouble getting jobs.
And in addition to that especially for the older children who were brought up here and have their high school diplomas through homeschooling, that all would not be recognized by the German government and universities. They could not get any higher education. They would probably not even get a job, because if you don't have a recognized diploma in Germany, you don't even get a good job.
And who set that system up?
And because Lydia is still legally a part of her parents' asylum case, she is having trouble filing for her green card. The whole process is taking a very long time, and they rarely have updates.
Just a lot more complicated in my case.
It's a lot more complicated, but
So it's two separate things that we're doing.
Yes.
It's the pulling me out of my family's case, as well as applying for
I-130.
Yeah.
Trace insists that his in-laws are good people and that they don't commit crimes.
They have been the most law-abiding people. Like I said earlier, these are great people that love the Lord, that love their community, that help out in their community. Mr. Romaki does a lot for the community. The whole family does. This is people that are good for America and are being told they need to leave the country for no reasons after they have been applying everything and doing everything right that the government asked them to do.
That's right. Mr. January 6th is now having to deal with ICE, and yet he shows no compassion for immigrants who aren't his wife.
And just because marrying a citizen and having a kid does not mean she's just exempt from that and from the deportation.
I'm including this next story in this update video because it is a significant event that happened to the Bates family. In September of last year, Erin had multiple infections post giving birth to her 7th child, and she went into septic shock and had seizures, resulting in her being in the ICU for several weeks.
The reality star is currently in critical condition in the ICU 1 week after giving birth to her and her husband, Chad Payne's 7th child, Henry. Alongside 2 black and white photos of Erin in a hospital bed, her husband writes in a September 1st Instagram post, "We had asked for prayer for recovery for Erin due to complications. Labor was longer and more intense than previous births. She has been fighting through it and has been such a light and sweet testimony of grace to nurses, staff, and doctors alike. We are all moved by her kindness and gratefulness in the midst of pain." Chad continues, Erin developed a severe UTI and kidney infection which sent her into septic shock. She's currently still in the ICU as doctors continue to treat, diagnose, and search for answers. "We would covet your prayers for this beautiful girl who is such a light in a dark world. We are holding on to God's promises." He notes that the couple's newborn son is doing well in the NICU, writing, "He is our bundle of happiness."
Now, as of October, she seems to be back home and healing well. She's even making inspirational videos and selling prayer cards and beef tallow moisturizer. So that's how you know she's back. So let's finally talk about what you all came for. Katie Bates, the 11th child born to the family, is a Christian influencer, really pretty, really sweet, and her husband is named Travis Clark. He is also a musician like Lawson.
God, you are my everything.
I wanted to mention for a second Travis's dad, Michael Clark. Travis's family has their own church, they have a lot of money, and they started an unaccredited Christian college called Vision Baptist College. Here is a video of the dad, who I assume has some sort of leadership role. And in this video, Michael Clark is rubbing the shoulders of one of his students and biting his ear and kind of messing with him and making him feel extremely uncomfortable. And I do apologize in advance because you cannot hear anything that they're saying, really.
Rubbing each guy's shoulders. He's next. It's not really a shoulder rub.
Good muscles. Come right on down this line here. You good? It's bad when you pull away. Let him wait. Let him wait. I love this. You're going to make my eyes water. Here, let me rub it. It's just my fingers now. Why do you turn me? Just rub it out. Rub it out. I think hurts even worse. That's the best one I've ever.
There's a lot going on with Travis's family, and I'm not going to take the time to go over each weird video of him that I saw because there was quite a few. It was just extremely disturbing. And when I saw it, I had to show you guys. One of the things that people were concerned about, because in December they decided to stop vlogging forever.
I started school, and at that time, Katie and I had been talking and had really been trying to plan for the future of what we wanted that to look like, especially with kids getting older and whatnot. And one of those things involved me going back to school and trying to get a job outside of social media per se. And so we started down that road, and throughout all that, we knew at some point we would have to back down the YouTube channel. Just so much work, so much filming. And we shared that with you guys, and we never really did back off, but we always were kind of like, we may have to stop.
Yeah, we literally said that probably like 3 or 4 times. We'd be like, guys, it's a new quarter. We might have to slow down. Trav's taking on more. He's going to be going more. And like, I think we just always kept doing it.
We just kept grinding through it, trying to get him out. And we enjoyed doing it, but right now it's just like so much school, and next quarter for me is just going to be another. And so we feel for a few different reasons right now that it is just time to stop the channel.
He is in nursing school, and that is allegedly where he met the affair partner. Katie and Travis were playing a game. It was called Agree or Disagree, a scale of how much they agreed and disagreed, and they'd put a cup where they felt, and then they would talk about it. And one of the things talked about jealousy.
I get bothered over little things, like if you go through a drive-thru or something and a girl like gives you
that
free,
is so true,
or is like flirting with you, that bothers me.
But guys, she's literally in the car with me, and if someone does the slightest thing, she'll be like, hello here, I have a ring on his hand.
Yeah, I do, because you're mine.
That's just funny to me, because I don't think like that. I said disagree because when we were dating long distance, I'm 650 miles away.
No, you were jealous in our relationship when it started. You were so jealous. It was like bad jealous.
Okay, let me explain. You had guys all around all the time who wanted to date you. You know that's true. Zoom the camera in on her. She's blushing. She knows it's true. But I'm in New Jersey like, hello, I'm talking to this girl. Like, this just doesn't seem normal to me. But a lot of the guys were either friends of the family or college or church,
yeah, like
so
some
you're
of them
going
were
there.
just guy friends. Some of them like were interested, but I loved you.
Thanks, Ben.
But I was very loyal to you. I was a very one-man type woman.
Hey,
like I did not
that's
like
that's the best kind. A one-man type woman. Just one.
That's right. Randomly, I will just look at your phone, but it's not like, let me investigate what you did.
No,
it's more like I just want to like keep in the loop, like what's up, what's everybody saying. One time for like a week, he changed his password as like a joke to me. I was literally on my mind.
And rumor has it that on a now deleted comment section from Travis's Christmas party video, that there may have been some flirting and some heart eyes going on, but I don't have proof of that, obviously. And then they weren't seeming to be spending time together, especially over Christmas. And Katie announced a pregnancy, got really excited about it, and then announced a miscarriage. And her family was there for her. But you know who didn't seem to be in any of those pictures? Was Travis. The next day, he posts this confession to having an affair and how he's gonna work on himself and sorry isn't enough. Yeah, no shit. This is hard to write, but I owe the truth and I owe an apology. I was unfaithful to my wife. I had an affair and repeatedly broke her trust. There's no excuse for what I did. This was my failure and my responsibility alone. I know the words don't begin to express the damage I caused or the depth of the hurt I brought into her life, but I am truly sorry. I'm sorry for the pain, humiliation, and betrayal I caused my wife through my choices. I understand that an apology doesn't repair what I broke, and forgiveness is not something I deserve or can ask for. I am taking responsibility by getting help and doing the work to change and become a more honest and accountable man, regardless of outcome. I ask for privacy and grace for Katie as she processes this in her own time. And how fucking dare you? Your pregnant wife? And you're allegedly bringing this girl over to your house for Christmas? And I don't know if the two incidences are related, the miscarriage and the cheating. It's really horrible timing, and you should have been there for your wife, and you were probably out endangering her health. So Katie's entire family unfollowed him. And then Katie made a couple of statements. This is not how I imagined beginning this year or this new season of our lives. This has been an incredibly painful time for me and for our family. As many now know, our marriage has been deeply hurt and my trust has been broken. Right now, I am taking life one day at a time and focusing on what matters most: our children, their future, and my own healing. I am truly thankful for the love, prayers, and support so many have shown. To everyone who has reached out, please know that I am deeply grateful. After privately expressing deep regret and sorrow for his actions, Travis told me he felt it was important to publicly take accountability for what he has done, and I support his decision and desire for transparency. We are working through this privately, seeking counsel both together and individually as we try to determine the best path forward for our family. I am also being supported by legal counsel. This is not a quick or easy process, and it is not one I am taking lightly. Every decision about our future will be made slowly and carefully with what is best for our family and our children as the highest priority. At the same time, I do believe in God's power to restore, and my heart's desire is to preserve our marriage. Because this is so deeply personal and there is still so much to work through, I sincerely ask for privacy. I also ask for your understanding that I may not be able to receive or respond to advice or opinions, even when they are well-intentioned. Again, thank you for your continued prayers, kindness, and compassion. Cast thy burden upon the Lord, and he shall sustain thee. So I don't know if this means that they're going to get a divorce. It really could be any option. There's also the social stigma. How is her family going to treat her? How is her church going to treat her? How is the internet going to treat her? She's being told over and over since birth that you do not leave your husband. I hope that they do what's best for them, and I hope that Katie finds healing, and I hope that she has support right now, because this is hell for her, I assume. And Gil is also a pastor at a church, and he had this to say at a sermon on January 18th, which could mean nothing.
You may be in the middle of the worst storm of your life. Never thought you'd be there, but there you are. And you're wondering, where is God? Where has he gone? I was trying to do what he told me. How did I end up here? You might want to just step back and say, Lord, you told those disciples to be of good cheer. It is I. God may let you, may let me go through storms that we never signed up for, but he knew they would be good for our life and good for our faith and good for his glory. Who am I to question the creator of the universe and the one who loved me enough to die on the cross? If you're in the middle of a storm, don't get mad at God. Realize, hey, Lord, I'm doing what you told me to do. If this is you, help me to be of good cheer and help me to be not afraid.
See, that video was from last week, and the one I'm about to show you is from a 2023 IBLP family conference called The Family You Always Wanted and How to Have It. And Gil says this.
And the wife, see that she reverenced her husband. Now, I know none of us husbands deserve it. And that's hard to read that and say it, because I know My wife is a way better Christian than I am. I mean, somebody deserves to be honored. It's her. But God said this. You know why? Because God knows one of the keys that unlocks a man's heart is respect and reverence. I know it's not fitting in the day we live in, but you know why? You know why the guy runs off with the secretary? He's got a beautiful wife and he's got an ugly secretary. It's not because of physical attraction. It's because sometimes she treats him with respect and he comes home and he feels he gets no respect. Now, I'm not saying he deserves it, but God didn't say give them some reverence if they deserve it. And none of us deserve it, okay? But somehow, in God's blueprint, he knows this little quality, this little respect, it turns a key in a man's heart that says, you know what? I want to protect this person.
So yeah, that's the video for today. I had forgotten a lot of the stuff about the Bates, and I also learned this week how much the children like to vlog, and that like all of the girls are influencers, and that Carlin loves sharing personal medical details about her children. So I'm sure that's going great for her. And for some bonus cringe, here is Lawson and his wife trying to get sexual on my Christian timeline. I hope you all enjoyed the video. I got some new stuff coming up that I have to start working on the second I'm done with this video. If you want to support us financially, we have YouTube and Patreon memberships that do the exact same thing. They get you access to the Discord, access to a playlist of exclusive videos, a merch discount, and all around good vibes. We also have merch, lots of good stuff, fundiefridays.shop. Check it out if you're interested. Otherwise, just leave a nice comment. That really makes our day and it helps the algorithm. So I love you guys. Thank you for everything. Editing Jen here. I just wanted to pop in and say something real quick. ICE is a violent, racist, terrorist organization that is tearing people's families apart, abducting children, and killing anyone that stands in their way. They target immigrants regardless of immigration status. Not that that matters. They're human beings and they deserve to be treated with respect and dignity and not imprisoned or shot in the street. ICE is just another form of state-sanctioned violence, and it's only getting worse by the day. The conditions that they force human beings to live in are well beyond inhumane. The people they abduct are given dirty food, barely any medical attention, and are often beaten. They abduct pregnant women, elderly people, disabled people, children. They rip people out of their cars, their jobs, their homes, and even their kindergarten classrooms. In my description box, there are links that you can click on for information about calling your senator, knowing your rights when it comes to protests, and companies that you can boycott. Stay safe out there, love your neighbor, and do your best. I love you all very much. Good night.